Live from the internet, this is the Crystal Chronicles, your official, unofficial Final Fantasy Dissidia Opera Omnia podcast. This is episode number 28, recorded on October 24th, 2018. My name is Pierre. I'm joined, as usual, by my co-host, that would be Mark and Mino. Good evening, guys.
Hey, how we doing?
Hey, Pierre. Good to have us on air tonight. Wow, I botched that one.
Yeah, that was a nice attempt to say three things at once.
Yeah, right.
So first off, I wanted to thank you guys for doing a show last week without any forewarning of my absence. As was mentioned by I believe Mark, I don't know, maybe both of you. I started a new job, and what would you know? Actually going to work instead of working from home kind of killed me, the whole commute thing. So yeah, that's what happened when you get back to the real life. So how was your week?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Full of DFFOO.
Lots of
balls. There's been a lot of events.
Lots of blitzballs.
I gotta say though, before we get into that, my new job has a PS4 just lying around for people to play with during lunchtime and board time and all. And well, would you know, the first thing I did, I believe, like on my second day of work, I went to EB Games and brought a use or pre-played or whatever they call it, pre-love or anyway. Dissidia NT game, and I've played a couple of games of it, and I can honestly say I have no idea what the hell's happening in that game. I run around, I try to hit things, but yeah, it's a work in progress, so not the fighter game I was expecting.
Yeah, there is. You actually have some movement, right? You actually control the movement of the character as well.
Well, you press O, and I believe when you're close enough, if I have like a sword user, like Sephiroth or some, I can actually hit things, but I still haven't figured out how magic users are, not, the whole 3D fighting game thing really throws me off, so. I did so well during the tutorials, though. I thought I had it, and then I went...
I was doing so good.
I was doing so great, and yeah.
Then an 11-year-old beat the crap out of me.
Oh man, I haven't tried online games. There's no way this shit's happening. I'm staying against spots. But you know what's the most annoying thing in that freaking game? Mog. Use your abilities, Koopo!
Oh, yeah.
Don't go too far, Koopo! I'm just an annoying bitch, Koopo! Oh man, that freaking... It's like the Zelda "Hey, listen" thing all over again. So, yep. I'm actually glad that Koopo is the only thing that bastard says in DFFOO. But
yeah, I'm don't hope for voice acting because it comes with consequences.
Chose your summon, Koopo. All right. Moving on with some DFFOO news. There was a schedule change with the order of the events. Mino, you want to tell us what it was and what happened?
Ooh, let me see if I remember what you're talking. You're talking about since
the Halloween campaign trials of Pandemonium and Redia. I think they were maybe supposed to be dropping later than they are.
I think, is Pandemonium later? I want to say Pandemonium's later, right? Because I did see, I remember in Japan that came right after Kuja about, but I don't know if that's because we're so accelerated that Pandemonium actually did come out in October, and we just have like a million events.
But I mean, weren't these? I should have prepared you for the question, but I thought you knew. But weren't these like when they were originally data mined? Weren't these events like on different dates and they were pushed?
Yeah, so, right.
Okay. Thank
you. Pandemonium was going to be on the 21st. The Halloween event was going to be on the 24th. And of course, the Halloween event dropped on the 22nd, and Pandemonium dropped on the 24th or last night.
Rydia's early too, I believe, right?
It's on
Rydia,
Friday, which is unusual.
Rydia got bumped up to Friday, the 26th.
And Friday for us in our time zones is actually tomorrow night.
Correct.
That's
Yes.
absolutely correct. So
And
not
then
Friday at all.
And I know the big news was that Permanent Alexander. No, not Permanent Alexander. Who was the last big one? But a
Jerk
permanent,
McFace.
a permanent World of Illusion was supposed to be on the 29th.
It's
and
the
that
one I haven't completed because I was so sick and tired. It's the Brothers.
Wait, really? It was Brothers Permanent was supposed to be out already?
Oh, then it's Alexander. Alexander's not out already.
No,
Yeah, okay, there we go. So Permanent Alexander was supposed to come on the 29th, but that got bumped back indefinitely. So that's leading a lot of people to think that Maintenance is going to be coming that day for perhaps Awakening, as they've been hinting at the stream that we'll talk about soon.
Yeah, a lot to talk about regarding that. Before we get to that, Wakka Wakka, there was some changes to our most favorite Blitzball player, especially Mark's. Basically, just some adjustments to follow his 35 CP being released. Let me see if I can go back there. Basically, the ability Great Daring is now based on attack and just basically Wakka's stronger. That's what you need.
Basically.
It's just I always feel bad when I'm just reading something people can read on their phone. So I like the short version better.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
I'll give a little more in-depth look at that.
Would you
So,
please?
He gets a huge Brave battery, calculate off his attack. I believe it's over like 10k Brave, right, when he uses it?
Yeah,
And-
yeah, he can go 0 to 14,000 real easy.
Yeah, and then he has a 90% chance at each of his buffs, which is attack, max Brave, and defense. I think there's a fourth one.
Speed.
There we go.
Zoom,
And then
zoom.
attack
there's
is 120% increase. Max Brave is 100. Defense is about 100, I believe, and then speed is huge. It says large increase.
Wait,
Yeah, they're all-
wait. We're still talking about a character adjustment, or you moved on to his 35?
Oh shoot! I'm talking about the 35. Sorry.
Would you
the
please
adjustment
not
is
move
just-
ahead in
Yes.
the schedule?
There
You
it
are
is.
confusing the crews and at least one of the hosts.
I'm so sorry.
Nah, it's all good. So that's for Wakka's character adjustment. DFFOO Content Creator Spotlight. Mark?
Well, this was Mino sent me this.
I've got everything wrong. I'm
No,
putting
it's
the
fine.
wrong O's on the
I-
on the spotlight.
I
So
wrote the
Mino.
outline and put that in there. But no, Mino sent me this great video from Zalits or
Zalits.
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 And it's a wonderful. We'll post it. We'll link it. But it's a wonderful YouTube video about his trials and tribulations with Lenna's EX. So very, very cool. A very amusing, very well done video. So thank you, Mino, for sharing that, and thank you, Zalits, for putting that together, because it obviously took a little work. Not only playing Lenna's EX about 1,000 times, but editing it all
man.
together.
I loved seeing a unconventional team completed. It's really nice.
Yeah, he beat it with Zaz, Wakka, and
Sid.
Sid, yeah.
All right.
Very nice.
Zaz, of course. All right. So yesterday there was the Square Enix mobile stream. It's the usual co-op challenge thingy. The number of different characters they wanted to have was hit, which means that at some point we're all going to get 5 armor token, 10 draw tickets, and 3 relics of all knowledge. And there's, a whole bunch of updates coming at the end of the month. You guys want to talk about that real quick? Because I tried to watch the stream today, and I kind of quit halfway through it. So there's some stuff I can talk about, but that part I think I must. The two next lines I'll leave to you guys because I think I missed them.
Let's alternate, Mark.
Go
Because
ahead.
I know for sure the first one was being able to make multiple purchases in the token shop for events, which is a huge one
Yes.
that everyone's been asking for. And I know I would really appreciate that because when I have leftover tokens, I'm buying artifacts or weapon orbs one at a time, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
there was-
we're not talking about the armor tokens. It's like these event thing
Yeah.
where you have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
exchange. Oh, I get it. Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
gonna be
you
good.
thought it was the armor token?
Yeah, I thought it
Oh,
was the armor token. I was like, what the hell does it matter? It's 3 taps. Just be a big boy and do it.
Oh no, it's the event stuff, which can get really annoying because I think there's like 15 tickets under some token, and then you have to click over and over. And
No,
over.
absolutely. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, Josh made some comments about, or somebody kept asking about draw tickets. If we could have use 10 draw tickets instead of just use one at a time. So he said they've heard that and they're thinking about it or looking into it. But so we are getting the ability to buy multiples from the token exchange and the ability to enhance with power stones and orbs simultaneously. How sexy is that?
Oh
So,
wow, I didn't know
Yeah.
that part. That's really good.
Yeah,
See?
so instead of just using your power stones and then having to go back and use orbs, you can do it at the same time.
I did that a lot this month trying to prepare for Lenna EX and Sid X.
Yeah, so I heard Joshua say we were going to get a new feature that when the boss's health was low, you would actually see the number instead of just red. You would actually see the number of HP. But Pierre, you have said they did that differently.
Yeah, Josh made a post on the DFFOO Discord channel, and he says, quote, following on the HP display after confirming with the team, the correct implementation is as follows. When the enemy's HP is low, the HP bar will show more accurately. This unfortunately means that what I said previously, that HP numbers will be shown when HP is low, is incorrect. However, we do know about how positive the response was during and after the stream. So, he kind of screwed up, but I guess the response was so good that he says that while he can't make guarantees for the future, he is passing along the positive response and feedback to the dev team for consideration and discussion. So hopefully,
that would be super helpful.
Yeah, I was super excited when they said it would show the numbers.
Yeah,
I felt like I was cheating almost, but he did take it back and he said it was going to be easier to tell, which they did implement in the Japanese version. So if it's anything like the JP version, what it is currently when the red bar hits a certain percentage, it just stops going down until the boss dies. Now it'll actually go down. That's the change.
Well, that's helpful because it's kind of a pain in the butt.
it is.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the numbers would be great. So
I would love the numbers.
Sorry.
But they don't even give us numbers on attack, so I doubt they'll give us numbers on enemy HP.
Yeah.
DFFOO, the game where numbers don't really matter.
The points don't matter.
Mark, you remember in Final Fantasy Record Keeper when the enemies and especially the bosses didn't have HP bars
Oh yes,
at the very beginning? I remember I was struggling to get through the FFVIII battle where you had Rhinoa, and I would try and beat Adea, the sorceress. And every time I was like, I must be so close, but you couldn't see her health. And once that got in, it was hard to imagine that there was ever a time where there was no health bar whatsoever on the monsters. So
Yeah, no health bar is not ideal.
not the best.
That's real EX. No, you just guess. Guess how many attacks you've done.
Yeah, something about Japanese game developers really love that because all the Japanese RPGs I've played and like the MMO, like FF14, they hate giving any. It took, I think, over years of player protest for them to add a percentage to FF14 boss bars, so you could at least see what percent their health is.
Really, there was nothing.
Oh
yeah, there's nothing.
But how can you plan for a fight?
Exactly. I remember reading this. The Japanese mentality is that they like to leave some surprise for the player. They don't like to be metagamed really hard, so you can't like mathematically math out how much damage is or how many attacks is needed to kill something.
Can you imagine taking this mentality, applying it, today out of the blue to World of Warcraft? Like this raid, you're not gonna have any idea how much health the boss has. No idea what are your DPS matters. Just go in and have fun and take the surprise. People would revolt.
It's maddening because DPS parsers are officially banned in Final Fantasy XIV too, despite all the protests.
Well,
it's awful because they said it'll make people feel bad if they underperform.
Okay.
Pretty funny, but yeah.
But you think so basically the idea is let's not show the rest of your raid how small of a dick you have, so people won't laugh at you. That's their idea.
Yes.
Okay. That's great. All right, moving on.
So other updates. Double Cycle Quest rewards. Woo-hoo!
So, did you just miss Pierre last week?
Oh, we definitely did. You have no idea.
All right, so Double Cycle Quest rewards, they're going to be back, which is, news but not news. They'll be back for a short period. And it's funny because
I actually do those Crystal Quests.
It's funny because when that was announced, Josh said something, oh, well, it's going to be good because I'm like so much behind on my crystals. It must have been like, the sixth time in 20-ish minutes that he had mentioned he was behind on something. So, and considering he's got like 45k jams, let's just pretend he doesn't really play the game. He's behind on everything. He doesn't draw shit. So, nah, I'm just kidding, Josh.
I assume that he works on the game all day. I'm sure he doesn't want to play it in his off time.
Well, the lady next to him, whose name I keep forgetting, seemed to be really into it, and she seemed to have a karma level that's way up to mine in terms of draws and everything, which means basically not getting squat.
Oh, really? I was under the impression she played even less than Josh because she was playing Josh's game and asking Josh how everything worked.
Well, who the hell knows how Warrior of Light is supposed to? I mean, who uses Warrior of Light?
Wow. But anyways, these double cycle quests are coming just in time for Awakening because I'm sure a lot of people are tapped out. And they said they're coming with new items now.
Yes.
New relics and books that are ×3 to rewards instead of the ×2, and we're supposed to be getting 2 of each for free. So I'm guessing they're assuming very accurately that a lot of people are tapped out of crystals for Awakenings, because Awakenings, those last 10 crystal levels take more crystals than it took to level a character from 1 to 50.
But
so do you need the first 3 levels of crystals to awaken as well?
Yes, but
and
those are but I think the difference is 4 is very limited, whereas 1 through 3 you can farm anytime.
But there's one thing. I know they said that they would give 2 items for free, but I've also heard limited time. So my question is this going to be like limited time, but during that time you can buy a shit ton of them and stockpile them, or everybody gets 2 and then it's over? What's the mechanic behind that? Was it mentioned? Because I was confused.
Oh, that's a good question. I know they said you will be able to buy them from the shops with gems, I don't know about the limited time. Maybe Mark got it, but maybe limited time means, you know how in the summer event we got the token shop for the co-op early, and then it went away and came back. I think they might be talking about that for the books.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah, I do not know because it was a little bit confusing what they were talking about in terms of how it's limited time. If it, those were only going to be available to buy for a certain amount of time, or were they going to be with a gem sale pack? So they were going to be with certain chests and you weren't going to be able to buy them. So we'll see where they are.
If there's one complaint that I can make about that stream, it's the fact that it was hard to follow because they tried to do something differently where they would do a co-op and then they would talk a little bit about what's coming, then another co-op. But what I found was kind of sad is that oh, okay, this co-op is over, so Josh would start talking about something, and then the girl would take Josh's account and start another co-op. So both of them were doing two different things. There was no involvement, and it was just confusing the hell out of both of them at the same time. I wish, they would have been more involved. Okay, this is co-op, and then they would talk about the features and actually exchange between the two of them, and maybe give out that information that was not given or that was confusing at times. So
what you're saying is they could have used a PowerPoint presentation.
No, they could have talked to each other
Slides.
in other ways than how do you use Warrior of Light and
Oh yeah,
Zack and Kefka are coming. You don't know the order,
agree.
but ha ha ha, we do. That kind of pissed me off. That was weak sauce.
That is a very fair assessment. I agree with you, Pierre, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe they were trying to get in enough co-ops so that the community meets the reward in time.
Well, yeah, I don't know why they had to do 15 different characters, right? I think that they just put themselves in a situation where just do 9 characters, do 3 different co-ops. I mean, as opposed to having to do like 6 or 7 co-ops and you're rushing and throwing stuff together, like you said. So
it's not that. It's just
this is not the Final Fantasy Square Enix helped them make a better stream podcast.
Yeah, let's.
You know what'd be funny during the next stream? Like Josh would be, well, I was listening to this podcast, but do you know what these guys are doing wrong? And da 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 da.
Yes.
So maybe let's not start setting that precedent so that they roast us during their next thing.
That would be great. I would appreciate that, though.
Oh boy. Okay. As I just mentioned,
but there's still more content.
I know, right? Like Zack and Kefka, but the order is not confirmed. They know we don't.
They are confirmed. However.
Yeah, they are confirmed, but not the order in which they're coming. Will be the last 2 characters released that do not get released with their awakening. So after them, the time of 50/50 will be over, and we'll be talking about awakenings and such.
Can't wait for that.
How good is Kefka?
Kefka has an HP silence that lasts 2 turns.
Yeah.
So that's effectively like a guaranteed paralyze from Cloud, right? Because for 2 turns, they cannot do any HP attacks. That includes Brave plus HP attacks.
Ooh.
So the only thing they can do is Brave hit you.
Well, okay, so the Brave plus HP doesn't even do like the Brave part, and not it. You just can't
they
use
just cannot use it, right?
Oh, that's
cool. Really good, right? Like I'm thinking that's why they've delayed Kefka so much, because he would have really messed up these EX battles. Like if you HP silence the dragon, it can't do anything.
Well, that's what a lot of people were saying, that the dragon would have been a lot easier with Kefka. So
right. So I think that's why they've been delaying him so long. He's a very niche character like Lenna, whereas he's the only character in the game that can do something like that. Yeah. So although he might not be like the strongest character, he'll have his uses going into the awakening era. Like there are some fights where HP silence will just destroy that fight. Plus, he's the only one who can throw 5 debuffs on an enemy or by himself. So you can remove all of an enemy's buffs with just Kefka's debuffs.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they're both good banners, but again, they're not going to be awakened, so they're going to be up against this at least this first wave of awakenings, let alone whenever wave 2 comes out. So
just before we get into these awakenings and the waves, one last thing: the Tancred Lost Chapter will be coming at some point. And it's important to know that it's the Tancred Lost Chapter. It's not a trio of Lost Chapters. The era of having multiple Lost Chapters coming all at once is now officially over. They're going to be releasing them as single events and not in the original release order. And they will be rebalancing. Will they be rebalancing all of the Lost Chapters we had so far, or only the one that will be coming from there on?
Just Thancred, they said, because Thancred came out very late in JP. He came out after Wave 3
of
so
Awakening.
He's coming very early. So they're saying, don't worry, we'll adjust it, because in JP, Thancred LC was infamously difficult too, like vanilla LC version 3. Version 2 would have been ace if we got the real thing.
All right. So that's something to look out for. Awakenings. So there will not be doing awakenings all in one shot, which was what happened in Japan, I believe. They will be doing them in waves, with the first wave coming at the end of the month, which is, by the way, at the time of this recording, in 1 week. The first wave will include the following characters: Warrior of Light, Furion, Cloud, Terra, Mary, aka Waishtola, Shantoro. There will be buffs coming to these different characters. I believe that's the time where Terra's abilities become instant cast, right?
Yep.
And all of this is at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And
they were released in waves in Japan, right?
Yes. In Japan, this is the same way they did it in Japan. We're getting it slightly faster. So for the first month, they just had the 6. We're getting these 6 plus Thancred.
Right.
And then moving forward, starting with Alice, who comes after Zack, all event characters come with awakenings too. So then they started getting 8 a month, because it's the wave of 6 plus 2 event characters a month. And then when LC started doing it, it was 2 LCs, 2 events, and 6 character waves, so 10 a month. So
we could see, if you're looking ahead, so we definitely know the first wave's coming in October: Fury and Cloud, Terra, Mary, Professor S, and Wool, as Pierre just said. So likely we're going to get the second wave here in November, which would be Van, Titus, Ace, Bart, Cecil, and Yuna. But then in December, if we have the same, of course, everything's different, potentially. But if we get the next characters in some semblance of the same order, Alice, Noctis, and Selfie were the character events next. So if we get some combination of those 3, they will have awakenings. Then we still have Cryo and Snow for the LC that was paired with Thancred. So they would kind of be next. Of course, those could be out of order. And then wave 3 of awakenings is Onion Knight, Zidane, Rem, Lightning Squall, and Sarah. So that could all be by the end of the year.
Oh, right. And after Chapter 11, all the chapter characters come awakened too.
Oh, okay.
So it'll steadily increase as time goes on.
After Chapter 11, it is Interlude, right? So it's not Chapter 12, it's Interlude Kaith Sith.
Yes. And then so they started 6 a month, they went to 8 a month, and they went to 10 a month. I think we're starting at 7 a month. So let's see how fast they go.
all right. And as we mentioned, Kefka and Zack will be released after the awakening has started, but they will not be awakened in their own event. So the end of the L5050 characters will be over after Kefka and Zack. So that's a thing that will no longer be a thing. Moving on, Space Dream, the Sid Highwind Final Fantasy VII character introduced because we really needed another airship driver in this freaking game. That's what was missing, an airship driver.
I appreciated the Sid. Who was it? Sid, Zaz, and Setzer, like, just demeaning Vaughn. that was a great scene. I love the story in this game. Any chance to just put Vaughn down in his place, I was very happy. Very happy. If we could just get Hope's parents to die in this game, that would be great too.
That's cheap. Okay, I didn't see that coming. So on that banner, we've got Sid, we've got Rem, and we've got the hot dog eating. What's his face?
Zal.
Zal, thank you. So
Chicken roast.
Is Rem finally useful with her 35 CP? I'm sure the answer is no, but just for kicks.
The answer is no, because we have Saws.
Pretty much, that's the answer.
Yeah,
that's the answer to everything.
Hey, someday she'll be somewhat useful, but probably by that time there will be so many other people who are better than her. Yeah,
by the time she gets her awakening. Yeah, she gets her time to shine when her X weapon comes. It's really.
Her EX weapon. Yeah.
But as of now, I think she gives a modest Brave battery to whoever she uses swap turn on. She swaps the turn, but it still takes her turn to swap the turn, and then their turn to go. And then
there's no point to that ability.
I think the point is to give them a Brave battery and increase their max Brave by a lot. I think it's I don't have the info in front of me, but it's at least 60%.
Some people don't like high scores.
Hey guys, you know what? That's funny because usually any change in the game will happen at 10 p.m. my time, and what would you know? I just noticed that actually, why am I doing this when I can just show it on the flipping screen?
Oh yeah, show it on the screen, please.
Yang and Shadow just had their buffs for the upcoming Redia event. So Yang command ability kick plus base use increase from 3 to 5, and damage dealt to non-target increase from 10 to 40% or 20 to 50 when affinity ability enhanced kick is equipped. And Shadow had the same thing as Wakka, where the Brave will now be increased based on attack before multiplying, and the condition when target is KO'd for attack up to buff will now be applied when has been removed. Has been removed. The buff will now be granted when Shadow Stealth is used. So that's pretty good, and it makes Shadow a little bit more useful when you're fighting a boss battle.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying this is a very skippable banner. Rydia, Yang. I'm gonna pronounce his name funny because that's how they say it in the DS version. Yang and what's his face? Oh, right, Shadow. But I think a lot of people are sleeping on Yang. His AOE DPS is the best in the game. As you just saw, his kick now does 50% HP damage to all other targets, and his 35 is gonna give him a Brave Plus that does 120% damage to all targets. So I think he's the prize of the banner, personally speaking.
Yeah, but with the Wakka banner going on and with the Awakening banners coming, everybody is out for your gems anyway.
That's true. Awakening, I'm assuming longtime players will have a lot of these guys geared up already, right? Am I wrong? Like, out of the starting 6,
I'm ready.
Do you have at least 15 CPs for all of them?
Oh, I don't have 15 CPs for all. I sell those.
See, Nikolai on Twitch is saying that it's not so much a trash banner as it's just poorly timed.
Yeah.
So he's got exactly.
Well,
yeah.
I have of the initial 6, I have 3 of them max limit broke with both of their weapons.
That's really good. Of the initial 6, I don't have any max limit broke, but I do have all of their 15s and 35s for Warrior of Light, Terra. Actually, I think that's it. But I mean, that's a good enough start to not need to pull that much on this banner. I could get it through Power Stone.
Well, and I'm looking ahead because I got my spreadsheet out here updated. So, I'm looking ahead. Do I really want to spend anything on Furion because Van's going to be out next month, and I got Van ready to go. Do I really want to spend anything on Mary with Selfie, Lightning, and Ramza in the wings? Do I really want to spend anything on Shantoto when Squall is coming, or even Cecil, right? And even with Warrior of Light, Yuna and Sarah are coming in the wings too. So,
But
decisions.
Yeah, I digress. I moved the conversation. I apologize for that. So we were about to talk about the level 70 co-op for Space Dream, and we want to know how is it. So it's still doing the battle against the 2 sexy robots, right?
Yes.
2 sexy robots.
Well, when they die and they start going like, "Oh, I'm asleep," like the Titanic pause they're doing.
They kind of remind me of those, that first like artificial intelligent electronic remote control dog that was big several Christmases ago.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That immediately popped into my head as
the Sony one.
Like you could program it, and you talk to it, and it would do things. That's years ago.
What's it called?
It wasn't very
Abo.
good, but yeah, that's him. Yeah, or her.
Abo, I think.
So starting with this co-op, so my thing is I'll pug it. I'll play with randoms if the co-op's easy and just watch TV while I do it. But if it's an annoying co-op, then I look for my real life friends and then do it together with them with books so I can get it over with as soon as possible. This was an annoying one. I jumped into this with no preparation, and if you have no dispeller, this fight takes so long. I just did not want to deal with it anymore. And then one of my friends texted me, said, "Oh, I got Sid 35 CP off tickets." I was like, "All right, then we're running together until both of our bells are done." And then that's how I got rid of this co-op. I did not like it from a casual standpoint.
Well, you're not casual, so. Mark, any opinion?
On the co-op or the EX?
No. We're still talking about a co-op.
I did not invest a lot of time in Lena and Sid co-ops. I just got the basic rewards because they are annoying and like whatever. I'm not grinding artifacts for this, so just get my gems and as many tickets as I can get and go from there.
All right. So the EX battle, we want to know, is it as bad as Lena or did it take a step back?
If you have a debuffer, it's not, or a dispeller. So the dispellers.
Yeah, who are the dispellers? I mean, there's Vanille, but who else?
Yeah, Vanille.
Ferris.
Ferris.
This is who I used, yes. And then there's Sid now, of course. Yeah, Ferris. Her cannonball.
Lena's sister.
Oh, I had Lightning's sister. And
then Sid, of course. Some people even use Cloud, I've seen. And Balth.
Cloud?
Yeah, Cloud can remove a debuff with one of his weapons.
Really?
It's I have it.
Crimson Edge from his from the Ifrit banners.
One of these days I might actually limit break it. Maybe I don't have it. Maybe I don't have it.
Yeah, I don't have that. But anyway, we'll keep going. You're doing great.
Yeah, so you really need one of those, and I mean, I would say definitely Ferris, Vanille, or Sid, but you can try Belthier or somebody else. But I brought Zaz, Sephiroth, and Vanille, and my Vanille is 0 max limit broke with her 35 CP. You really need her 35 CP to make that an AoE debuff, AoE dispel, excuse me.
Yep.
But she's terrible. She didn't do any damage, so she's basically just debuffing and dispelling. I cleared the first time. I only attempted it once. I cleared it with 38,000 because I lost the HP requirement. Apparently, I took too much damage.
Oh, you got close though, but so you haven't gotten a full complete yet, like score challenge wise?
Yeah, I haven't gone back and done it again.
I'm sure you can do it though, with that too.
I probably could. I did try to go back and do it with. Who did I try to do it with? I streamed the other day, and I tried to do it with Wakka. Who else? Wakka, Zaz, and Sephiroth, maybe, just without a dispeller. Or maybe I did Wakka. Because no, I did do Wakka, Zaz, and Sephiroth, and I almost killed him without a dispeller. But I couldn't get it fast enough. Didn't kill him fast enough because I didn't know how many HP they had when it got down to that sliver. So screw you, Square.
This took me an embarrassing amount of tries because I've seen so many people online say that they did it in 2 to 3 tries tops. Took me maybe 7+ easily over a lot of days because it's so hard finding a Sid assist, and everyone says a Sid assist is necessary. I have like 2 on my friends list, I think. So I tried like once or twice a day, and I think I went with Saz, King, and Ferris. I'm sorry that we keep bringing up Saz, Pierre, but it's just the easiest thing to do.
But yeah, because the boss is weak to ranged. I mean,
yeah.
Well, that's good. I can use my new 35 CP Wakka. Oh wait, no, I can't. I don't have it. So.
Oh no, Pierre, it's okay. Long game. Awakenings are coming. You'll have the last laugh.
Yeah, long game. Tell that to my 910 jams. Long game, baby.
But yeah, just like Mark, Ferris didn't do anything except dispel for me. I found the strategy that worked finally was somebody told me this on Reddit and Discord, and I thought it rang true, which is the last couple of EX battles we're used to buckling down for the long haul. This is a fight you need to burn as fast as possible. So I was playing wrong. So what I did was, as soon as the fight started, I switched Ferris out for the Sid assist, summoned as soon as I could, and then you just pile onto one robot as much as possible. And by the time your summon's almost out, that robot should almost be dead. And once it's dead, you only have one robot to deal with. It becomes significantly easier. And then Ferris's only job is to keep the buffs off at that point. And as long as you rush and try to do as much damage as possible, you should get a full clear, no problem. 90 turns is what you're aiming for if you take minimal breaks in HP damage. So it's kind of generous, and I did feel it was much, much easier than Lenna EX. I don't know if it's because we got stronger characters, but I think Lenna EX was definitely a one-off mistake. I don't think anything's going to be as hard as that again.
All right. Trick or treat. What are you guys going out costume as this year?
Tired.
That should work.
No costume. I'm one of those lazy bums. I'm
Wasn't
going to
that
some parties,
like
but
your
no
costume
part.
for the last 2-3 years, Mark?
Yeah.
Are you guys taking your kids out?
You think we have a choice? You think it's like an option?
My boys have already been trick or treating.
What?
Yeah, how the hell is that even possible?
Yeah,
I got 2.
And you know you're not supposed to eat the candies. They're supposed to go to your kids, right? But explain that. How is it possible that they went trick-or-treating?
We have friends who camp at a campground, and they do a early October like trick or treat. Halloween, bonfire, haunted house, haunted
Christmas.
trail, Santa Claus, Christmas in July. Yeah, no, they just do it all. Thanksgiving, yeah, some mash. No, but they do like a Halloween trick or treat thing there on the campsite early in October, and so they went down and Optimus Prime and Chitala, Black Panther, my kids. So go figure. Yeah. We didn't make them do a theme. Last year we made them do a theme. So they got to do what they wanted to.
I'd force my kids to do a theme if I had kids. So
well, last year a group called Magic Wheelchair made my daughter a large sled from the movie Frozen. So we made everybody go Frozen.
Nice.
Yeah. So they turned her wheelchair. My daughter has a wheelchair. Turned it into a like full size sled with LED light. I mean, it was just amazing. So yeah, so I made them dress up like Frozen characters.
Well, 3 years ago, my son was dressed as Link and my daughter was dressed as Zelda. That's the only year they were dressed in a team.
No, the year before I made my daughter's wheelchair into the Millennium Falcon and made all the kids dress up like Star Wars characters. So
that's pretty cool. Oh boy! All right, but I was actually referring to the DFFOO Trick or Treat campaign, which launched. What was it like on the 22nd, which is 2 days ago. That includes 2 new stickers, Mug Team stickers. There's also the event quest, which is kind of a weird mechanic. There's 2 waves. First, there's a big spinning hurtworm that it's a little bit annoying, and then you have either.
Oh, it can be a behemoth too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't always have to have the horrible worm. It can be a behemoth.
Mm-hmm. All right. I wish I had seen it. And then you have either one boss, which is like the skeleton or the holy dragon or some other stuff, or you can have the trick, which is 2 bosses at the same time, or you can have the treat, which is a magic pot that gives you a whole bunch of gold tokens. So. And then there's the token exchange with your classic armor tokens. There's a power stone in there. There's draw tickets, whole bunch of stuff. The the featured boosted characters are Wakka, Papalymo, and poor good old useless Cyan. So,
how do you guys feel about Wakka, by the way?
I don't care about him. I didn't get his stuff.
Hey, who's Wakka? I don't.
Why? How do you feel about Wakka?
I think if he came when Saz did, he would be a much bigger deal.
Oh,
but I think delaying him till this late was a mistake, because now he sucks. Well, no, he doesn't suck. He's still one of the better characters, but he's not top tier easily, because although he does massive damage, he steals turns like crazy and has no Brave plus HP, so he's really only good for Brave shaving. And I also don't like that his buffs have a 90% chance of kicking in, because
that can be an issue.
Yeah,
no, but that seriously can be an issue.
You can still have a 10% chance of getting nothing.
There is a chance that, even a chance that one of them, like the Max Brave or the attack drops. Yeah. So the nice thing about Wakka is his Brave. He's a self buffer. So Zaz gives you attack boost 2, right? Or is it 3?
3, yeah. 3.
So Zaz has the best attack boost in the game, and that's attack boost 3. Wakka gets attack boost 5, max brave boost 5, defense boost 5, speed boost 5. He brave generates from 0 to 14,000 very easily. And I just got his 15 CP max limit broke, and that does help a lot. You wouldn't think, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that makes Dark Attack about 1,000 times better. Because before Dark Attack was doing like 2,000 brave, 4,000 Brave. Now Dark Attack's doing 10,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he's going to have his niche, and when he awakens, he's going to be great. But I'm not sure you're gonna. You shouldn't be breaking the bank for Wakka.
Yeah, really disappointing. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I give him an 8.
He's fun.
Maybe a 7.
Well, yeah, he's definitely. I mean, because who can go from 0 to 14,000 Brave in one turn, right? I mean, he's not trash, but he does suffer from the fact that he doesn't have a Brave plus HP attack. But once we get into the launch era, that's going to be not an issue. And eventually his awakening makes that Brave generation party Brave generation. So
yeah.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
It's funny because every time you talk about a character, the same sentence comes back every flippin' time. Oh, once they get their awakening, they're going to be awesome.
That's Mark, by the way. I never bring up the awakening.
But is there any character that's going to get an awakening that sucks?
Yes.
A few, but you're right. Most will be really good upon awakening.
Let me see.
I think Tancred's special because that's why they're letting him come early.
Yeah, Tancred, he's on that list.
Wow, what's Tancred?
He gets a lot more.
Get some damage and stuff.
Yeah,
and
he gets more damage
poison.
and more ability uses, but
GRW on Twitch says that Yuffie's awakening is gonna suck.
Yuffie.
It's a Wakka situation where it's actually pretty good, but it's one of the last awakenings that ever come. So there's a lot of better characters out at that point already. Yeah. So.
All right. Trials of Pandemonium. Is there anything to talk about regarding this event? I don't think any of us really used Pandemonium before. So besides the fact that you get, what is it, like almost 4,000 gems for completing all of these battles, is there anything to really talk about?
Does Pandemonium come in? Because Pandemonium's blessing is bonus damage in a chain. So does Pandemonium come into play during the Lele meta phase?
Yes, definitely for sure. So it will be one of the more used later, not yet.
Okay.
When launches are a bigger deal, and when Lael can do it on command, that I think he can start doing it on command once his 35 CP comes out.
Yep, with his 35 CP
soon. Yeah.
Next month.
Huh.
Yeah, so I mean, I like to get all of these elemental guys up to Bray or up to level 20, but at the end of the day, I almost always use a Freed. So,
well, you're a completionist, so.
I was thankfully. I think we all were able to get. Well, Mino and I were able to get to the EX battle. It's not very challenging. I was talking before the show. I went back and tried to beat it because I said a couple weeks ago that I would beat an EX without Zaz, without Papalymo, without Aiko, without Sid, without King, without Wakka, without who else? Sephiroth. Yeah. So I beat this Pandemonium EX with Cloud, Kistis, and Ramza. So. That should tell you something about the difficulty of this EX. It is a cool mechanic. So the mechanic is you have the one snaky thing from Final Fantasy X that dies and then resurrects and dies and resurrects and dies and resurrects. And the cool mechanic in this fight is it doesn't die and resurrect in the same wave. It's a new wave every time it resurrects.
Yeah, I kind of stepped the first time I saw like 8 waves. What? But then
So the final EX battle is 9 waves, an Iron Giant, an Avian, and then 7 waves of this monster. Is it 7 waves of the monster?
I don't remember. It was a lot.
Uh,
Ooh, what Final Fantasy did you say this was from again?
10,
Hey, he
right?
said 10, but it's 5.
Is it 10? Yeah. I was gonna say I think 5 because I literally just played this fight in Record Keeper a few days ago, and it was annoying the hell out of me because I was like, how many times do I have to kill this thing
Yeah,
before
no.
it really actually?
You're right, but it looks like Eevee from Final Fantasy X, which also revives. It's a very similar looking snake thing, which I'm sure it's based on this monster from 5. Yeah, this is the 5 version, right? Yeah, so the first form is weak to, you fight him 5 times. First form's weak to wind, second form's weak to fire, resistant to ice, third form's weak to ice, resistant to fire, fourth form's weak to lightning, resistant to water, fifth form's weak to wind, resistant to lightning. So if you want to figure all that out, great. If not, just go and kill it, and it doesn't matter. So the EX does have, so like you can auto battle the part 6, or at least I was able to auto battle the part 6 without much of an issue.
I confirm.
Yeah, okay, so you can auto battle the part 6 without an issue. The EX boss does have a lot more HP, so you're going to want to pay attention. But I think if you have any of the characters in the last month and a half, 2 months, you're probably not going to be an issue. The world of Illusions, so everyone's buffed, which is really nice. Yeah, and if you want, Vaughn does the wind damage, and Vaughn rips through this thing. If you bring Vaughn as a friend, or if you have a Vaughn, Papalymo can deal with the second and third one. Hell, even lightning can do some damage. So, I mean,
it's not like you want to auto fight the EX battle anyway. There's no reward in there, so.
I think if you want to know how I did my normal clear, I brought. Who did I bring? That's a good question. Oh, where is it? I brought Wakka, Sephiroth, and Zaz. So.
All right. Anything, Mino, or do we just move on? Or
I got nothing. I used King. I spammed Brave plus HP, and I finished it. I didn't even know it had mechanics. So skip my opinion.
All right. Roundtable discussion. There was an article on Reddit that caused a good bunch of controversy this week. It even got its own reply from Square Enix Joshua. We're going to link this in the show notes, but basically the thread is called Feeling Left Behind, posted by Alpha Stranger. I'm going to leave it to you, but basically the guy says, just skimming over it, that he feel so poorly optimized for anything that's coming out. He says that basically he's not getting most of the 35 CP, even though he's got characters with 15 CPs and everything. He's just, he's having a hard time clearing the content. He finds the co-ops are more boring, the lost chapters are frustrating, the EX quests are poorly optimized when you don't have exactly the right characters with their 35 CP and everything. I don't know. Is that a good way to say it?
Well, okay. So I'll start off first. Let me play the unpopular role and say that I was looking up reading Alpha Stranger's post, and he's one of the guys who only pulls for favorite characters, which is understandable. But all his MLB characters are from 3-4 months ago. So I think it's a little unrealistic for him to expect to beat all content without having pulled in a couple of months. But that being said, this is why we said we missed you, Pierre, because me and Mark touched upon this last week, and we were saying, oh yeah, people need to just accept that EX fights are extra and like the rewards are no big deal. But apparently that is unpopular opinion, because once I saw this thread, I realized no, most of the players completely agree that this is tuned too hard and they want an ease in difficulty, even though Mark and I thought it was fine. So clearly we're not in tune with the player base right now.
Well, here's the thing. Last week I was listening to the show, on my way to work and stuff like that. Uh, and when you guys were having that discussion, I wanted to go back in time and shake both of you like apple trees, because what you were saying was so freaking frustrating. I mean, Mino, you're like hardcore player. Mark is connected with the big guy up there and's got crazy badass karma and's got all the weapons that he wants after like 2 draws. You both have Zaz, so what do you know about real players having real difficulties?
Agreed. So please tell us, Pierre. We were missing your opinion last week. That's why we were saying we missed you so much, because last week was just Mark and I agreeing with each other. We need another point of view in there.
Well, see, that's what I told the poster in that thread. I said, you know what, we're going to talk about this. I said, I'm 100% behind you. In fact, I could have written most of this post myself. We'll be talking about that with 2 hardcore players like Mino and Mark and 1 schmuck like me. It could be a good discussion. Basically, you know what, there's something I realized. Right now I have all of the chapters finished, so they're all cleared. I've completed most of the events except the last chapters, for which the rewards are earned token anyway. So I got all of the events, I've got all of the World of Illusions, they're all completed. What are my options at this point? And that's what's frustrating. I tried doing the EX with what I had, and before Mino, before you coached me and making me believe I could actually complete the Sephiroth EX, I haven't even given them a try, because I was like, there's no way I can get this. I barely get through the rest of the freaking fights. Right now, my position in this is like, well, you know what? Either I spend money to start getting stronger weapons, or there's just no point in me playing this game, because the content goes from, oh, it's easy, oh, well, you can't do shit anymore. I can't complete the EX battles on the event. The harder the last chapters, I still can't get through them. So I think that's what this guy is saying when he says he's feeling left behind, and it's something I realize when both of you guys are talking on Discord every week or on these podcasts. I'm not on your level in terms of characters, and at some times I even start thinking about, am I even like, do I have a chance to get on your level? It's a running gag at that point, but I'm going to say it again. I don't have SAS 5 CP, and because I don't have this one character with this one weapon, I have the very honest feeling I am missing out on opportunities to complete event and enjoy the game. And I'm not a player who's been, Mark has been making fun of that for 2 days now. I don't know where I saw that, but like people, well, I've been playing this game for 10 days and how come I can't clear the EX battles and such and such? I've been playing since day one. I just have shit luck. And because of that shit luck, I feel like I'm being penalized towards other players who don't put more money than I do, don't put less money than I do. I just didn't get, them right characters. And, for some reason, when they wrongly tuned the Lena fight, everybody started throwing fucking tantrums around. Well, I don't have Lena's 35 CP. I can complete this EX and what? Well, welcome to the life of the casual average player, you dumb thing. It's what we all feel. Except at this time, you guys that were so hardcore couldn't do it any other way. Well, of course, at the end of the Lena battle, there were videos and strategies, but at the beginning, everybody was on the same playing level. Everybody was pissed. But it's the exact thing that we, either casual or less lucky players, are experiencing at this point. And when you clear all the rest of the content and you realize there's no gems coming in, so either it's money or let's just play something else because I can't complete anything else. That's exactly where you get the feeling that you're being left behind by the game, that there's no place for you in this game. I don't know if any of this makes sense.
First of all, let me just say, Pierre, I thought that was beautifully put. I feel like that needs to be a Reddit post. I feel like that needs to go out to the community. Seriously, I think that's better put than the original post that's already got like 250 upvotes on the subreddit. Like, really, I really got where you're coming from after that, and I really understand. I think you're right. But I want to say, well, as you said, Josh responded in the thread. He said, "We see all the frustration, we have the feedback." So maybe they're going to do something about it, which is good news. That's one. But the second thing is, I think this is what awakenings are supposed to do.
Just
Because
before,
awakening,
just on that, I want to give credits and kudos to Josh for going on Reddit, going to a kind of sort of controversial post and say, hey, you know what? Thank you for this. We're hearing the community. We're hearing you. If there's something wrong, we're gonna look at what we can do. This is awesome that Square Enix is taking the time to say, hey, we acknowledge there might be something. We thank you for because the original poster was very constructive in what he said, and the fact that Square Enix took a moment to say we're listening to this speaks in volumes about their commitment to the game, and I wanted to take the time to thank him for saying that they're listening. So go ahead.
sorry, I was responding in chat. So I was saying, the reason why I haven't been super outspoken about it yet is because I believe that maybe we are having a knee jerk react. I talked to Square Enix Josh. He said that before they usually consider these things, they see if it's a knee jerk reaction because a content that might seem hard right off the bat, people could find solutions for down the line. But I agree with you. Everyone is saying that the recent difficulty jump has been huge, but I'm saying maybe I'm holding out hope that Awakenings will make it better because that's the whole point of Awakenings, right? Instead of making new characters that you have to pull for, like Sephiroth and Sid and Lenna, they're bringing old characters up to speed. Old characters that longtime players should have decently built up by now. For example, if we go through all of the Awakenings when they're bringing all the old characters up to speed, and when you look at the timeline in Japan, a lot of the meta is controlled by the old characters. Very few new characters come out and dominate the meta, maybe like Selphie and Kate Sith. But other than that, it's the old characters that are coming back out on top, which means that if you already have, say, Cloud's 15 and 35 CP, which you had lots of banners to get, like I believe Squall is someone who's had 4 or 5 banners featuring all his weapons, and he's going to come back out on top with 0 more new equipment you have to get. I feel like this is a really tough spot because we're right before Awakening. I think when Awakening comes, for example, you have both of Terra's weapons. I think right there you're going to be back on top of the curve again. And I'm really hoping Awakening solves this problem, and I completely understand the concern of being left out. I really do. And I agree. Square Enix needs to make things more relaxed. And I think they hear and understand that too. But I'm pleading with more normal casual players such as yourself to please wait and see what happens, because I really think Awakening will fix a lot of it. Because with Awakenings, like we said, it's 6 to 10 buffed characters a month, which means the pool's a lot wider. This month we had, say, 3 or 4 events, right? That means those 3 or 4 banners have all the viable characters. Now you're going to have 6 to 10 characters that are viable every month, at least every month going forward. And a lot of those characters, more than half, you're going to already have their weapons for, maybe, hopefully, as a longtime player. I feel like this is their way of rewarding longtime players. Would you agree with that, kind of?
I do. There's just one question which I might have gotten Awakening all wrong. You just said that they're going to be taking characters and making them stronger, but I was under the impression that as part of the awakening there were also, oh, and you said that there would be like no purchase necessary with the, but I thought they were releasing a new weapon on top of that.
So in Japan, if we're following the same timeline, let's say we're a year behind, correct? In Japan, it wasn't until Kuja's EX weapon that came out in June did EX weapons start becoming necessary.
Oh, I see.
Otherwise, all Japanese players said EX weapons are extra, not needed. You could completely just have a good awakened character with the 15 and 35 and complete all content. And I think that might be easier because if you've been pulling on most old banners like I have, you have at least the 15, if not the 35 for a lot of these characters. So really all you need are power stones, maybe not even that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm super looking forward to it. I'm not going anywhere, but that when I read that thread, it just hit something like I knew what that guy was feeling. Like I told you guys almost instantly in Discord, wow, I could have written that myself. So, yep.
But you're right, you know. I think you have a right to be frustrated, and you're not the only one. Look at that. That has so many upvotes and comments in that thread. You're clearly not the only one. Mark and I are clearly in the minority here, and I understand we kind of come from a place of privilege because we pulled great characters, and we're ahead of the
We
meta.
live on an ivory tower filled with stars.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, sorry, we've been just me and Pierre going back and forth, but do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I was gonna ask him. You're awfully quiet.
No, yeah, no, I think everyone's great. I think everyone's right. Can't we just get along? I think that's what we.
Good old
No,
Mark.
I've played so many mobile games over the last I don't know how many years, and I've played guild mobile games where you need to pay to win. Like your guild has to pump actual money into events to win, to get the newest items, to get the best ranking so that you can be competitive, right? I've played games like Record Keeper where, I remember when Nightmare Dungeons came out and then the Torment Dungeons came out and then, and impossible content for a lot of people, right? And somebody was saying, well, Record Keeper, the hardest dungeons were only Gil. Yeah, but not those, those dungeons you had to grind to get the special, summon things. I forget, Magicite. Yeah, the Magicite dungeons were exceptionally difficult, and you needed those to be competitive, right? Like you needed to do Magicite to get a whole nother type of thing so that you could play the game. Record Keeper isn't or Dissidia Omnia isn't like, if you beat that EX, yes, you're going to get a couple more gems. You're going to get some more summon tickets. But you're not going to get like the weapon that, it's not like Zaz's 35 was a prize that then you needed Zaz's 35 to get better prizes, right? Because that could be the reality. Or that you could unlock characters. I mean, I played this game Alchemist Code, which is fairly popular. And there's tons of content I cannot beat. And I have max level. I mean, and there's characters, I've been playing that game for months. I have several characters who are not even max level because it just takes too long. It just takes so long to get anywhere in that game. And even my max level characters are not necessarily very good. And so, you get this whole breadth and width of kind of, game experiences. So, overall, I feel very good about where Dissidia Final Fantasy is lying, realizing that, yes, I think they really threw a wrench in the machine with Zaz.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Pierre, this is probably a one-time thing that there was such a strong character that dominated for so long. Other than that, I think they just made the mistake of bringing him too early on.
Yeah, and I don't know that they thought it was going to be as game breaking, and if it was, maybe they just should have given everybody Zaz's 35 and gone from there, or at least offered it again in a different, offered it again another month from now and another month from now, just because they knew it was game breaking and you only had that one opportunity to get it. So
No, I think it was there twice.
well, they brought it back because the Android players didn't have it at all.
So,
but still, it was in a very short time period.
I know.
Yeah.
That had that opportunity.
Anyhow.
It's just to add in the last part is, so just like Mark, I've had all the same gaming experience. So when we talked last week, I agreed with everything he said. I said if I missed out on an X or two, like for example when Vanilla LC came out and I couldn't beat it right away, I didn't lose any sleep. I just accepted that as a fact of life, moved on. But I realized not everyone's like me, and making EX fights easier would make the casual players much happier and it wouldn't make me that upset at all. So I honestly think lowering the difficulty is good for the entire community. The hardcore people should have, I don't think they'll care much if it's easier, but it's the more regular players that are getting driven off. So you're not in danger of losing your hardcore players. You should make it more accessible for everyone. I agree.
Well, up to a certain point. I mean, I don't know. The thing is that it doesn't need to be ridiculously easy and given to everyone. It's just the fact that every time you guys talk about a fight that you've completed, who's in the party? It's gonna be Zaz. It's gonna be this guy. Anyway, we've covered this back and forth, so I really have nothing more to add, but I'll keep playing the game. I'll keep enjoying the game. Who knows, maybe with some luck I'll even get good at it. So maybe it's just, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this game goes, but I'm really looking forward to Awakening and to taking, my fully limit broke Cloud and Terra and reaching new heights with them. So we'll see. Alright, question of the week. We just gained access to the entire Final Fantasy V protagonist party. Why do you think FF5 was the first, and which Final Fantasy realm would you like completed next? Well, that's a trick question because Final Fantasy VI is not going to be coming any time now because there's 3,000 members in it. Final Fantasy 1 is complicated because they don't really have names and all. Final Fantasy 2 is complicated because they all freaking die, so there's a lot of players in that too.
But the funniest part about looking, so I have a list of all the characters by realms in front of me. Yeah. And so we have the entire Final Fantasy V party: Bart, Scala, Ferris, Creel, and Lenna. The most hilarious part of this list is we have none of the protagonists from Final Fantasy III, which is a big screw you to Final Fantasy III. Screw you, Lunith. No one wants you in this game.
Wow, that's true.
The main character. No. Go sit on it, Lunith and Ark.
Well, we've got Onion Knight.
Yeah, but
Onion
Knight.
But he's no one.
Onion Knight is not, the protagonist. He's not one of the 4 party members of the actual game, right? So,
and I just look in Japan, they don't have anybody else than him.
Yeah. No, just screw Final Fantasy 3.
That game never happened. Nope, never saw it.
Yeah. Poor Lunith, poor Ark, poor who's the knight guy?
Ark.
Ark is the monk. His best friend.
Yeah.
Lunith and Ark were friends, and then there's Rifia, right? And then
I want to say Rickard, but that's in Final Fantasy II.
No, not Rickard. No. Yeah, I can see him. I
Too lazy to look it up for me.
Picture him. Who's that guy?
But my argument against is that I know that they're basing this game. Ingus, there you go.
Ignis,
right?
Ingus.
Ingus.
Yeah,
it's different from Final Fantasy 15. Ignis, right?
Yeah. So my argument is they're basing this on the Dissidia games, which take the original source material, which means they're kicking out Lunith and his buddies who only appeared in the remake. I don't think they count that as canon. They might come
That's
later,
true.
just like Record Keeper, but in Record Keeper, I believe Onion Knight was the only one for a long, long time. They did not care about the others at all.
Wait, say that again?
Onion Knight came much later in Record Keeper.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
really?
Onion Knight was.
Yeah, we had Lunith, Arc, Igus, and Rifia before Onion Knight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Wait, say that again about the Final Fantasy III characters not
the
being canon?
the original ones were generic.
Yeah, the original were no names. They were all
Onion
Onion Knights, and then you would turn them into different classes. The
was the
Lunith,
remake,
Refia,
the
Ingus, they only came in the 3DS remake that only came a few years ago. Whereas
Well,
the
that was
original
wasn't that in the PS1 port too?
No, it was just the 3DS remake, which only came a few years ago. So I think that they're not as canon as
Right.
just the Onion Knight.
Right.
And
Oh yeah,
Isn't there-
I thought it was in the you're probably right because it's been a long time since I played the PS1 port of those two games. Yeah.
But isn't there like a part in the story where you visit one of the characters' father or something? Did they rewrite the story?
yeah, they rewrote the story completely for the DS version.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, right? And that's why I get it, but they're very new compared to Onion Knight. So taking that, let's say if it's just Warrior of Light for 1 and Onion Knight for 3, then out of all the other Final Fantasy games, I think 5 has the least characters in their game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 5 has technically 2.
Technically
It's
2,
just
but I think
Furion-
5's more popular than 2.
Right.
So they
Five
focused on 5
would be
first.
Furion, Maria, and Guy. Those are
Yes.
basically the 3 game characters.
Yes. I agree. and I think you would argue Leon. He was there in the beginning too.
Leon. Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, other than them, because I think 5's more popular than 2, it was easier to just bring out the 5 characters.
Well,
the
5
other
had- 5 is the first Final Fantasy anime, so
yeah. The other thing I want to argue is that I believe I read this interesting interview from the developers a while ago saying that they try to it takes them a while to come up with how will this character fit into the game. And they said with 5 characters, they can kind of make up whatever the hell they want, which makes them easier to put in the game because they can be multiple classes at once, right? So
yeah, right.
yeah, so they're pretty much blank slates. It's super easy to slot into than say like the FF6 blue mages like Realm and Gao, who are much harder to figure out a way to put in the game properly, I think.
Yeah, there's tons of FF6 characters you could have.
So we're never going to see Go-Go? That's what you're saying?
We probably will. It'll probably
we'll
just
see.
be a last resort when they run out of ideas.
Yeah, we'll have General Leo by then, so I'm good.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, they did say all playable characters first, so I think Go-Go has a chance to get in before General Leo.
No.
Wait, General Leo.
Wait. You can actually play
You played
General
General
Leo.
Leo?
Not for a super
Oh,
long
come
time.
on, that doesn't count.
Not
Get
for a
outta
super long
here.
time, but you can actually play him.
I don't
Yeah,
think that counts.
Reeks is a character from Final Fantasy 12 in Record Keeper, and you play him for like 5 minutes before you die, or before he goes
Record
into
Keeper
a
has all
coma.
these non-playable characters in it already.
No,
though.
Record
Oh, yeah,
Keeper has jumped the shark a long time ago.
Oh yeah, tell me about
It hasn't Brave Exvius jumped the shark. Ariana Grande is not in Record Keeper, so we did ask to see if Ariana Grande would be here in Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, so it's not confirmed. Not confirmed.
Isn't that like a pop singer?
Yes.
It's a coffee from Starbucks.
But what's the joke?
They just had a cross promotion and they put her in
She
twice.
is in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. She is a playable character.
But from which realm? From what?
From Ariana Grande. She's a pop star.
Wait, the pop star is in the Final Fantasy game?
Yes.
She is literally a
I need to send you
character
the
in game.
trailer. Can we put the trailer in the stream links? I'm going to send you the
Yeah,
trailer after
it's
this.
not like Yeah, it's not a joke. It's literally her. You
I'm
play
not
her.
believing this. I have to see
yeah.
it to
She
believe it.
even did
She has
a cover
multiple-
song for the game too.
She has
as a
multiple outfits.
Okay, post this. I apologize if you are on audio only. Well, actually, you're not gonna see it either if you're on the stream, unless you click on it. So you're gonna have my audio. Please give me the link now. I gotta take a look at that. I refuse to believe this. I thought you guys were pulling a quick one on me when you were talking about that on Discord this afternoon.
I gotta find it.
Google might be faster than you.
Probably.
Nope. It's not faster than you.
This is taking me a while. How is this so hard to find?
I swear it's a real thing.
Ariana
She's
Grande
probably-
as
she's
her
probably
alter
already a
ego,
star at
Dangerous
Ephesus,
Woman.
too.
Yeah, that sounds right, Pierre. If you could find a video of
I can't find a video, but man, unless you guys like edited the FF wiki and everything,
It's real.
this is
It is
great.
real.
and Lara Croft's in there too. Like and I think they have other crossovers.
Oh,
like
tons of crossovers. That game is
Nier.
crossover every week. Yeah, Nier Automotive or the new Nier game is crossing over with Star Amnesis this week. So yeah, no.
what the
I gotta
hell?
find the trailer.
Just Cause. They did a Just Cause promotion, cross promotion. Yeah, it's terrible. I do not like that game. I've played all the Final Fantasy games. I despise Brave Exvius. I'm sorry. If anyone likes it, that's great. I'm glad for you. I played it. I do not like it at all.
Wow. Okay. I'll just take your word for it. This is okay. So FFRK has not yet jumped the shark if you compare it to Mobius.
Brave Exvius.
Yeah, sorry.
Mobius can't jump the shark because it's just over and over and over again. Like swimming around the shark, basically.
All right. If you have a question for us next week, please send it to kupo@tccpodcast.com or on our Twitter feed, Facebook page, all of that. Basically, I'm sorry, I still can't get over the Ariana Grande thing in the Final Fantasy game. This is... Who's next? Weird Al?
Me.
All right. While I try and contain and get myself back into it, you guys have any last wisdom?
We will see you next week when Awakenings hit. So
Awakening
that'll be
High.
really exciting.
Will it
Maybe-
really be there by next Wednesday?
I believe so. I truly believe so. Because
Maybe
maybe early. Josh swore before November in
Oh.
the month of October. So
All right, there we go.
this month.
All right, well, then I guess this pretty much covers episode 28 of the Crystal Chronicles with your hosts Pierre, Mark, and Mino. Again, for any comment, feedback, complaint, anything, you can leave us comments on Twitch, on YouTube, on what's else, Twitter, Facebook. All the links can be found on our website, tccpodcast.com. We've got a Discord channel if you want to come on and talk with us. Other than that, that's going to be it for us. Thank you for being there. Thank you, people on Twitch. You guys have been great. A lot of good interaction. So we'll see you next week. Have fun and have better karma at pulling than I do. That's all you need in life to be happy. So have a good one.